first you have to motivate the people in-house, but then when you start thinking in larger terms, every company is going to need to motivate the media to create that buzz about the company. How do you motivate journalists to write about? How do you motivate investors to invest in your company? So motivation is an important topic that should be kept in mind, I think, for every leader of every company. There, again, I think it comes down to giving people things to do that they're interested. If they have a self-interest, if it's interesting to them, they're going to do infinitely more than if you make them do things. So there's ways of doing that. You give them tasks that they're good at, that are within their specialty, the thing where they have the expertise. That's task pre-selection. You don't give them things that maybe can be delegated to someone else. You don't waste their time. So when you do give them something they know this is valuable, and it's worth putting their time into, and they invest it fully instead of something, it's not that important, I'll put it on a back burner, it gets written off anyway. Part of that is also everybody in the company and everybody that you're trying to influence has to know what is the vision. Why am I doing this? Yep. That question, it's amazing how often you go to staff and you ask them, why are you doing this? They have no idea. Or the simple answer usually is, well, they told me to do it. Mr. X told me to do it, so I do it. But they have no concept of how that fits in. And even for secretarial tasks, I've seen how the results can be significantly better if the secretary even knows why they're making this phone call, who this person is that they're writing a letter to, where does this fit? What are we trying to do with this letter? The more the people understand the vision of the company, where it's moving, what's the mission, and then they see their role within that mission, it gives them much more motivation to do that task, because that task has become important to them. They subscribe now to the idea. If they don't, well, maybe it's not the right company for them. But if you provide that vision, you explain it to them, they understand their role. Well, if they choose to take on that role, hey, now they're much more motivated. And of course, another key element is you give them skin in the game, is what they say. Does the person have skin in the game? You give them a shareholding, you give them options for shares, or you give them a percentage. If things turn out. So they actually participate and they risk along, with their own time and effort in the project, but they also partake in the reward. So they can have a disproportionately large payout potentially. We know how, Microsoft and Google secretaries became millionaires, and how cleaning people at Google had Ferraris and things like that. Some of these things are urban legend, but a lot of it is actually true. Getting options early in some of these companies and getting a shareholding may be very, very valuable. And when people feel that it's their company that they're developing, it's their product, they take that ownership interest. That really motivates them to do things. All you have to do is look at when people have an ownership interest in their house and their yard, how does that yard look like compared to, an apartment or a rental place where they have no interest at all? Yeah. They're much more likely to plant, flowers in their own yard than in the apartment complex's yard. Okay. So that's just an oversimplification, but I see that working every day. You give them an interest.